Isn't it a perfect day? Oh, we've done well. I'm out in New Jersey today, and we're going to take a flight in this beautiful 407, which is of course the next generation of the 206. It's what the 206 turned into, and as you can see, it's a four-bladed version of the same aircraft. It's a little larger, it's a little more powerful, and it's a little faster. And we're going to be flying today with Andrew Woods.
Welcome to New Jersey.
Thank you. He's a pilot here at Zip Aviation.
Zip Aviation, Manhattan Helicopters.
And what do you guys do?
We fly tours and charters in and around the New York and the northeast of the United States. Mainly tours, and this time of year then a lot of charters, but charters all through the year.
Right. And you fly mostly the 407?
I can fly all the aircraft here. My favourite is of course the 407.
Right.
If this is just it's the business to fly.
Right. Because
it's a beautiful machine. It's powerful, it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's pilot's favourite, and crucially for our business, it's a customer's favourite. Customers absolutely, passengers love this machine. Plenty big. Yeah. We have tour windows on our aircraft, so there's absolutely no problem with visibility, getting great photographs.
And that's bubbles here?
Yeah, and that's why exactly these extended windows,
right.
And you can actually see their bubbles. So it gives you more room on the interior of the aircraft, more room to turn your camera and get those shots.
Right. And because it's a four-bladed aircraft, is it a lot smoother, less vibration?
Yes, it is. This is a very unique head. This is a four-blade, soft and plain flex beam head.
And that's this hub at the top here?
Yes, this is actually encompasses a Fram-damped system, which means that any of the undulations in the air are actually dampened out by all the head system before it comes down to the cabin.
Wow.
So it's a super smooth aircraft,
right.
even in rough, choppy conditions. This is really, really good.
Completely different to the 206 in that respect?
Yes, it is. It's like the evolution. This is a 1990s design aircraft, whereas the original 206 is 1960s.
Right.
Everything has changed since then.
And significantly more power?
Yes, indeed. This would be, I'll open it up for you, this would actually be essentially an 813 shaft horsepower engine, which is derated for the gearbox, and it'll give us 630 shaft horsepower continuous and 674 shaft horsepower for takeoff. And here she is.
So you're getting almost twice the horsepower of a 206.
There's your engine. There's your gearbox.
Yep.
And forward then is into the transmission system. Right. You can have a little look. Just mind your fingers there, Nick. All right.
Transmission into the main rotor hub.
That's it.
Yep. And then the hydraulics afforded that.
Hydraulics, all the systems on this aircraft, the cyclic, the collective and the tail rotor pedals are all hydraulically assisted.
Right.
1,000 pound pressure.
So in a lot of the 206s, there's a lot of hydraulic fluid that leaks at the front. Do you ever get that in these? Really?
Not really, no. You'll often get light oil. These things are... There's no such thing as a helicopter that doesn't spray oil at some stage of its life.
Yeah.
The thing is to know where to look for where it might be. We're looking at a very clean engine pan. These are cleaned and monitored on a daily basis.
This is a very well-serviced aircraft.
What we do here is we hand off our aircraft every evening after a flight, personal handoff to the maintenance crew. We actually meet the maintenance crew and go through any issues. Plus as well, these guys know more about the aircraft than I ever will, so they're actually troubleshooting it. Yep. They're liaising with Bell on a daily basis for all sorts of things, and because we put so many hours in our aircraft, Bell Helicopters have a huge interest in our fleet. I see. We were one of the first customers to put 407 through a 5,000 hour check, which is a pretty big maintenance.
So your 407s are flying almost every day?
Our 407s realistically would do 100 hours a month. Wow. In the air. Yep. So moving forward then, you've got the transmission, drive shaft up to the blades. Blades are composite, weighing only 58 pounds each. Yep. Ahead of us here in the dog box then you'd have the hydraulic system. Yeah. with the reservoir the other side with the porthole for recognition.
Yep.
Everything has an inspection along the way. Your fuel, steps for climbing up, everything's well thought out of. Vents, earthing points.
Is there more fuel than a 206?
Yes, there is. This particular aircraft is the standard configuration, so it has a forward tank which is in under here,
Yep.
and then a rear tank which is shaped like this.
Right.
So the combination of these two tanks gives a fuel capacity of 869 pounds of Jet A at standard 15 degrees centigrade.
And is the tank flowing into one or the other, or can you choose which tank you
What
use?
happens is, when you're filling, both tanks fill. Obviously this tank fills quicker.
Yep.
It's got a capacity of 256 pounds. Totally would give 869 pounds, and it's back fed. There are two boost pumps, two transfer pumps and two boost pumps.
Yep.
So all the time fuel is being circulated back here and then up to the engine from here.
And what sort of endurance does that give you? How many hours flight?
Realistically, a range of this would be around 320 nautical miles with a fuel burn of 300 pounds per hour.
Wow. So it's using a lot more fuel than a 206 then?
Yes, it is, but it's carrying two more passengers in a heavier aircraft. There has to be, some trade-off.
Yeah.
And when you open up and have a look in here,
Yeah.
we've our bags and bits and pieces in there, but you can see 2 seats here and 3 seats there.
Yeah.
And then actually, there's the view. If you look across, there's no ledge for the windows.
Yeah.
So there really isn't any
It's
excuse for
lovely,
not getting perfect photographs.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the curvature also reduces the amount of reflection off the perspex.
Yes, it
as
does.
well.
And these windows are tinted as well.
Right. And so one thing I noticed when I first walked in here was, both the 407 and the 206 look the same in photographs. In real life, this looks wider. Looks like a larger aircraft.
It is. It is wider. This is actually 7.5 feet wide,
Right.
41 feet long, and roughly, depending on these machines come with standard low skids. This has got the high skid. It looks better, so it's higher. So you're looking at a height between 10 and 11 feet.
So you just got a little bit more comfort in the cabin because of the extra width then.
Yes, you do. Plus, when you're inside, these bubble windows give the elbow room, which is great for anybody who wants to take photographs.
I see.
And just visibility. When we do a charter flight, obviously the kind of passengers on a charter flight really genuinely aren't interested in taking photographs.
Yeah.
But it's a comfortable machine, and it's a machine we're asked for. We offer the 3 machines. We've got the regular Bell, the B, the 206B. We've got an L model, and we've got 3 of these at the moment on fleet with another one on order.
Right.
But it's a dearer machine to charter.
Sure.
But this is actually what customers want first.
Yeah, because of the comfort.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's keep walking around.
I'll close that up later on. Yeah, all right. So 3 sections. The machine is divided into 3 sections: the forward section, the intermediate section, and then the tail boom section.
Yep.
With stabilizers and
So I
flaps.
noticed the stabilizer is the same, similar to the one on the Long Ranger.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
These give directional stability in flight, and your tail is actually offset by 5 degrees, which gives roll stability.
Right. Yeah, from this angle you can really see the extra width.
Yes, you can. And it's all about the customer. You can see how much of the cabin actually is for passengers and crew.
Yeah.
We have a baggage compartment up here as well.
Okay. Oh, before we get to that, this is a backup camera?
This is a backup camera.
Oh, wow.
We'll have fun with that later on.
Okay.
That's actually, it's very handy in a situation like this.
Yep.
Or if you're starting and you're not sure of what's moving behind you,
Yeah.
before you would ever lift a helicopter, it's like your car, check your mirrors.
Yeah.
This is my rear view mirror.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that's always kept clean. It's actually in a perfect place here.
Yep.
It doesn't really get very dirty, but we'd always clean that on a daily. It's cleaned at night anyway, and then we polish it off from any water residue in the morning.
Sure.
Baggage compartment. 250-pound capacity. It's got an 86 per square foot loading.
Yep.
And what you'll be checking for on a pre-flight, as you know, we've done our pre-flight already here this morning.
Yep.
You're checking for no loose items. These are the dual controls. Make sure everything is stowed in the correct place. But if anything is here, you've got latch points.
Yep.
So if we were carrying something,
you could strap it.
and there was a fear of it moving, we can totally strap it in here. And it's always a thing to have a look at before you actually take off an helicopter. What's in here?
Yeah.
Weight, we're always conscious of weight, so if there's something in here that isn't needed for the particular mission, out it goes.
Right. And I noticed
first aid kit then as well.
The pedals, the co-pilot pedals always stay in place.
The co-pilot pedals stay in place, but they're disabled.
Oh, they're disabled?
Yes, for you, today they'll actually be footrests.
Right.
Which is really handy, because when people sit beside you and they want photographs, they put their feet on the pedals. It actually gives them that rigidity on the turn.
Yeah. We'll get ready and we'll jump inside and we'll do the startup, and you're going to take us for a tour around New York today.
We're going to have a quite an experience in New York.
Fantastic.
Look at the day we have.
Yes.
This is just beautiful. This is a textbook day. Obviously you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. There's no wind even.
No wind, visibility of many, many miles.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots to see. We'll make it worth your while for coming over to see us. Super. I'll close this up and we'll get going.
All right. So I notice a lot of the switchgear looks very similar to the 206, doesn't it?
It really essentially is, with a lot more circuits and a lot more protection on it. Every instrument really has its own circuit here.
Right. And the main battery's still up here?
Battery here, Chinese.
Yep.
Lights, air conditioning, icing systems, fuel boosts, and then you go back to the actual instrument electronics, hydraulics, and then your anything extra. We've an extra port for our entertainment system on a tour. So everything is set up here. You become very familiar with the panel up here.
Yeah. But really, the exciting part is the G1000.
The exciting part is the G1000, and this is unbelievable piece of kit. So it's actually, right now it's going through its own BIT test, a built-in test.
Right.
So the system is checking the systems.
Right.
Checking position of valves, pressures.
Oh, okay. So it's actually going through all the...
It's going through everything. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, if I want... Let's say there's a problem here, I can do this.
Right.
There we go.
And it switches over, see.
Yeah. So if I lost this screen, my primary flying instruments, I can go straight to a second redundant screen.
Oh, there it is.
HTOS test OK.
So it's going through its own systems checking.
So the only two analog dials we get are airspeed and altitude.
All right. So obviously on the ground, the airspeed should be reading 0, and the altimeter should be reading field elevation, which is correct as of now. So in inhibiting terrain, we're going to be flying quite low, so I don't want this buzzing in my headset the whole time. Right. So I'm telling the system to it's going to notice the terrain. I'm telling it not to tell me.
I see.
There's no reason for us missing anything today. Sure. Absolutely nothing. So you don't have to scream in your headset. Yep. So we're going to go back to the engine page.
But look at the detail.
Oh, it's incredible,
isn't it?
And you'll see it as we're flying along. This is so good.
Yeah.
When you think of the technology that originally put man on the moon, this is even better.
Yeah.
And it's in a helicopter, so it's set up with helicopter instruments. We've torque, manage gas temperature, the heat of the engine, and the gas generation system. Compasses, it's telling me what systems are off, so I'm going to scan these down now to make sure I know that what's here is what I expect. I expect the generator to be off, I expect the hydraulic system to be off. It's telling me we're on the ground. My fuel boost and transfer systems are off. Yes, they are.
Right. And when you do the start, do you manually still hold the starter down like in other aircraft, or does this help?
This has a FADEC system. So what I'm doing, the FADEC system is actually going through and starting the engine within its own guided parameters.
I see.
It's faster than the pilot, so the pilot is actually just a backup to the system. So when you start a helicopter, there are two very important things. two of many. One of them is that the blade is actually starts to turn very, very quickly after it. So what we need to do is just sit in the helicopter, relaxed, listening to the battery. Is the battery, is the noise from the starter what you're used to? It's like starting your car. You put the key in and it goes whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, then it's not going to be a good day. If the battery isn't strong enough in this, we don't get enough air into the system, and the system will basically overheat. You'll have a hot start. So a strong battery, a blade that's turning in the space provided. So before we actually hit anything, we check again that nothing has happened since the time we did our pre-flight check, and that the turning of the blade, it's safe to do, because obviously we need the blade turning for flight. So we'll go ahead. The system is telling me that right now everything is okay, so I'm going to turn on the boost and transfer pumps, and I expect some lights to go off here. Fair enough. Generator still off, hydraulics. I can now hear the boost pumps working.
This is the fuel boost?
Yeah. Yep. So we're now good to go, so I'll just get my timer ready to start. So final checks. Clearing, looking outside, we'll call Kieran in a moment. So fuel valve is on. FADEC system is in the auto.
Okay.
Throttle, collective is fully down with the throttle in the idle position. The most important thing you can do right now, quite simply, is relax. Alright, the system's in charge. Your ears back up with no distractions in your head. Clock comes on, like so. I'll leave my door open just for a moment. And here we go, final checks. On, auto, idle. Light off. I don't even look up, but you can already see the blade is moving.
Right. So it introduced the fuel for you?
Yes, it does.
Right.
Caldwell Tower, Sky 84153, midfield 22. 153, runway 22, clear land. Clear land, runway 22, 84153. Hey, Charlie Bob, clear, thanks for help. Good day, sir.
Alright, you should now be able to hear me, Nick.
I can hear you.
Okay, we've got very good Bose A20 noise reduction headsets set up for noise reduction. Now, you notice I didn't put my seatbelt on. I actually, in case there was an emergency on the starting, an engine fire or something, I like to leave my seatbelt off.
Right.
Right now the seatbelt goes on. I'm happy that everything's okay.
Sure.
If for an emergency I needed to get out, that's what's going on.
Sure.
So seatbelts on, and doors closed.
Doors closed.
All right, and the office is now open.
Pipeline 9, say the call sign.
Now before we go, let's get the agents the information for the airport.
110 runway 23 in use, advising TV VFR at below 1,500. Crossing traffic passes north towards Ocoa, descending through 2,000 feet. Notice the airmen on the power lines from 100 miles south-southwest to 200 miles east of Ocoa at 155 feet AGL. Crossing reverse on the wildlife at the Ocoa Airport, advised on initial contact. You have information Juliet.
Information Juliet.
Code 8 is Juliet, 1253 Zulu. Wind calm, visibility 10, sky clear level 2000. Temperature 23, dew point 18, altimeter 3022.
3022.
Use, landing runway 22, departing runway 22 and 28. Traffic advisories, 110 runway 23 in use, advise maintain VFR at below 1,500. Caution, traffic passes north towards Ocoa, descending through 2,000 feet. Notice the airmen on the
I'm going to do just a hydraulics check before I go.
East of Ocoa at 155 feet AGL.
So the system tells me it's been off. I'm just looking for any motoring with the controls. No, I'm happy with that. Okay. Hydraulics back on. Always guarding the controls. Whenever your hands are off, I'm just guarding it with something else. So I'm happy with information Juliet. We have a radio back to the box one. Is the tower in Caldwell. And to make it life easy, always have your second frequency stored in there.
Yep.
So before we go,
Number 5143, call ground, taxi park via Papa November Juliet.
air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Yes, sir.
This is a great feature.
All right. So, again, before we go, I'm happy that everything inside is in the green. Gauges are where they should be. I'm still clear all around. We were helped by our colleague Ralph there, who was standing our behind. Another thing actually on this is, if we were unsure on the day, what we can do is look at the backup camera.
Yeah, let's have a look at this backup camera. Oh, there it is.
All right.
Oh, there's the 206 taking off.
206 behind us. All right. So let's go. I'll leave that on for a moment. So radio set. We have information, Juliet. We're clear all around. And are you good to go?
We're good to go.
Let's do it. All right. So here we go. Alright, now one of the things we do here is we move off the dolly.
Right.
And we just check that nothing is left there.
Yeah.
As in there's no oil leaks or anything have just suddenly occurred. Because the engine is now quite hot.
Number 143, hold short, taxi
And under a lot of pressure. So here we're actually cleared out to the Alpha November.
This is great.
Yes, it is. And Tara, good morning to you. Zip 42 is Alpha November with Juliet for a New York departure.
Zip 42, call Tara, good morning. Winds are comma 23022, clear for takeoff, taxi Alpha November to the east.
Alpha November and 42 is departed.
Pipeline 950, how far east are you going to go?
Everything nice and gentle. Relaxed. All the time, looking out.
Traffic just departed off the ramp is the helicopter eastbound.
We'll be looking for you.
It is incredibly smooth, isn't it? Incredible. The difference between this and the 206.
Just being the numbers of only 4.
It really is. They're your fram dampers now, working all the time. Today, it's quite calm anyway, but on other days it can be rough enough.
Combo Tower, Skyhawk 733, Charlie Lima, 1 mile west of Boonton, inbound with information, Juliet.
733 Charlie Lima, call Tower 3022, enter right down, 22 report Square Lake.
Runway 22, report Square Lake, 733 Charlie Lima.
I've got a liquid dripping down here. Is this just from the air conditioning?
No,
I would imagine so, yeah, that's what you want.
153, continue your taxi.
And like any flying mission, always thinking of what's coming next.
Yeah, 5253 Romeo, about 10 miles out with Juliet.
Will I need a frequency change? What I'm going to say, what I'm going to ask for.
5253 Romeo, Caldwell Tower, enter right down, 22 for Square Lake.
Following any noise abatement procedures in the airport, right now we have an agreement that we fly over this particular road at 1,000 feet, so we keep everybody happy.
Yep.
And it's easy to do.
And what's your flight time into the city normally?
Flight time in the city, typically from Caldwell to downtown New York, is 12 minutes.
Right.
But today it's going to take us a little bit longer because we have a few treats in store for you.
Sure. What a perfect day.
Yes, it is. Antares 42, free change, thanks for your help. Alright, so here we go. Changing frequency into the next airport, Teterboro Delta Airspace. And ahead of us, we can see
Yeah.
New
See
York.
the city, you can start seeing some of the traffic even.
Yep. This is Route 46, heading for the Lincoln Tunnel. Right now, it should be getting a little bit quieter, but you can see anything on these roads. Expect anything and never be surprised. You can hear how busy the radio already is here.
Clear the ILS 19er, circle 24.
So nice and gentle.
Dugout Julie Lima November, Teterboro Tower, enter right base runway 24, continue
Now,
traffic.
set this up
Friday arrival,
actually
take
for
off.
traffic.
We're going to jet, we're breaking it off now for runway 24, Julia Lima November. Tower 646 here, ILS 19, circle 24, going sector south.
November
There we go.
709er, Kilo Mike, Teterboro
So this
Tower.
is traffic within 2 nautical miles.
I notice you've left the power much the same.
709er, Kilo Mike, November 709er, Kilo
Well,
Mike.
there's
at the runway.
67% torque.
Right.
Now we're light today.
Yeah.
You know, we've a normal fuel load on.
Contact
There's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
But even with 5 passengers in the back,
495, we'll be in.
November 709er,
power is really not an issue.
Teterboro Tower.
If power becomes an issue, Really, there's something wrong. It's telling you something. So when you ask for a transition in New York,
November 9er, Kilo Mike, Peterborough Tower.
and they give it to you, which they do because they know us,
Land, wind calm.
and they know we're going to do exactly what we've asked for. If we have to deviate from that, always tell these guys. Obviously, if you've got to avoid...
42 radar contacts, altitude.
Yes, sir, 1.5 on 022.
Peterborough Tower, 646 out 0, Island 19, circle to 4, going standard south.
Ahead of us, Peterborough, the busiest exec jet airport in the northeast United States, and there's traffic ahead of us and going into Newark.
That's direct base 24646 out 0.
All right, ahead of us, crossing the Hudson River, again looking for traffic.
Yep.
You've got the help visually and the scope, but always look out. Ahead of us we're actually going to cross. This is probably Morningside, that's Columbia University, and we'll have a look at Yankees.
Yep.
So Hudson River, George Washington Bridge. Ahead of us at 1 o'clock there is LaGuardia Airport. It's a nice gentle descent, always looking to make sure there's nothing below you, traffic-wise.
And the Hudson River corridor can be quite busy, can't it?
It's very, very busy all the time. We're actually probably looking now, it's early in the day, so the radio isn't as intense here, but we can expect anything.
And
So
how many hours did you have before you could become a tour operator?
I came to here with 800 hours and a 206 rating.
Right.
And it's developed since then.